Hey Deckers, I've been promising an updated GTA 5 best settings guide for quite some time, and I've finally got it here for you. As you can see with these settings, it's looking absolutely gorgeous and we're pushing even over 70 frames per second. Although I am going to recommend, no matter what settings you do decide to run, that you do cap this on the Steam Deck at 60 frames per second, because you'll see that it does, under some circumstances, dip below that 60 mark, but very briefly. And just to save a little bit of battery life, especially on that OLED, 60 frames per second is more than enough. You can see here it dips down a little bit, especially as we start transitioning in some town sections. It does go under that 60 very briefly, either some loading spikes or just lots of foliage coming in, because we do have that up on Ultra, and I'll show you those settings right now. Overall, it's on the high graphics preset. The major difference is that we are running FXAA. Do not turn MSAA on or VSync, as these will kill the performance and viability. And you also see that I've got population, variety and density up a little bit as well. Androstopic on 8 times, and also no motion blur with soft shadows and ultra grass quality. Everything else on pretty much the highest that it can be. Through the missions and other bits and pieces, it barely wavers below that 70, apart from those minor loading dips here and there, and even with some of the cutscene sections, it still holds that 60 plus frames per second very happily. Now going online, I had a few problems. It crashed out a couple of times or just hung loading. I'm not sure whether this was server problems or what, but every time I tried it from the main menu, it would always seem to hang up. However, when I did it through the game itself from a story mode session, I was able to get into online mode. So I don't know if that's just a random issue or whether it's a deck specific issue, but if you do have problems going online from the main menu, then go into the story mission first and then out into online. Keeping the same settings, even when we're flying around there, you'll see that we have dropped now down to 40 to 50 frames per second, and it pretty much stays here solid no matter what I'm doing. I thought it would be better out here near the water with not a lot going on, but even when I'm driving through the town, and obviously there's quite a few people on this server, it was still hitting around the 40 frames per second mark. So again, not the greatest, but also extremely viable for playing online, and for once I didn't get blown up as soon as I got into the server. So apart from some minor dips here and there, just driving around in online mode, you're going to get a good 40 frames per second with these settings. But if you go into the online missions, although I didn't get other people coming into my mission for this one, as it was quite a low level one, it does go back up to that 60 frames per second mark. I'm guessing because these are instants, this is more like the story game world, where it was rendering much more efficiently. So overall, these settings will get you a good 60 frames per second solid in story mode and in set missions, and around 40 frames per second online. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be diving back into Grand Theft Auto 5. I definitely need to spend some more time with this game, as it's always great fun every time I dive in. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.